Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and this is meant to offend. So if you're offended, good. Now, this video is specifically for anybody who might have read KT Roberts' article in Independent that came out back at the end of July. This article was brought to my attention by a Brit woman. That's her email address. I'm assuming she is a British woman, which is why she is aware of sites like independent.co.uk. So this was something like, obviously it's been a while now, and I wasn't sure I was going to still do this video, but every time I kept revisiting it and coming back to this article, I was like, something needs to be said about this. Something needs to be said, and I think you will see why in a minute. So anyone who's a fan of this article, go F yourself, this video is for you. Now, this piece has a lot of issues, like a lot, not the least of which is the length of the title. Yeah, the length of the title. It's a little bit absurd. Like, if you have ADD, you're gonna lose focus less than a third of the way through. Because the title of the article reads, "Now that we've got a female Thor, let's topple every pale, male, and stale superhero we can." That's the entire title. And like, kudos to you for your clever rhyme scheme, which I might have cared about if I wasn't already asleep by the time I got to that part of your ridiculously long title. So that failure already. And once again, once you get past the adorable little clever rhyming, you can clearly see the angle that this bitch is taking, which is white man bad. Immediately, right off the bat, white man is clearly the devil, because that is how we make social progress. We isolate a large portion of the entire population and say, you are literally Satan. Your opinion means nothing. Go die now. Lest we forget that these people are actually members of society. They are human beings that still have human rights. Basic human rights, and you don't get equality by stripping people of rights and basically treating them like, you need to go die, you've had your moment in the sun, you no longer deserve to be represented anywhere ever at all. So great start, Miss Roberts, great start. Oops, I just assumed your gender. Haha, not sorry, get over it. Alright, so beyond the point of the ridiculously long title, that is already problematic, we have an equally problematic subtitle, I guess you would call it, that's also equally the same length as the title, and it reads, "Stealing a few spots from original characters at the front of the box office race is not only positive, but absolutely necessary if underrepresented actors are to have a fighting chance." Now, first of all, I'd just like to point out she's stealing her own line from like later in the article and paraphrasing it and rewriting it to be the subtitle. I was like, wow, really creative. Like, either quote yourself as the subtitle or make up something original. Clearly you had nothing else to say except that, oh my god, this is necessary because of all the underrepresented actors in Hollywood. Natalie Portman, not one of those underrepresented actors. Alright? Like, seriously, if you want to pick underrepresented actors, pick not Natalie Portman, who has had an insanely long and illustrious career, dating all the way back to films like Leon the Professional, and moving on forwards into, V for Vendetta, etc., appearing in movies recently like Annihilation, big box office, flops, but, movies that people know about, and not all of them have been good. Not all of her performances have been stellar. See Star Wars, the prequels. But one thing Natalie Portman is not is underrepresented in Hollywood. And her archetype, her specific type, also not underrepresented. You want to go for underrepresented? The petite brunette is kinda not really at the top of that list. Quite the opposite. See, once again, the aforementioned Star Wars franchise that can't seem to cast any woman unless she's a petite brunette. They are, in fact, probably the most represented type of woman in a lot of Hollywood films. So, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit right away. But wait, because I'm about to call bullshit again, since her article opens with the line, "Superhero movies are important. That's not an opinion, it's just true." Bitch, learn the difference between an opinion and a fact. That is an opinion. But right off the bat, you can tell what kind of article this is going to be. It's just true, because my feelings say so. My feelings say so, and therefore true. And her evidence to back up how true it is they make money, therefore they're important. Because, everything that makes money is super effing important. The Lion King, the reboot, made $1 billion. Clearly, it's a film of great social and political import, obviously. Just because a movie makes money does not make it important. But she qualifies that part of why, superpowers get bums on seats. And sneaking in social justice messages under the radar is a tried and tested way of speaking to the masses. Let me read that for you one more time. Sneaking in social justice messages under the radar. Show me the movie where your message was snuck in under the radar. Show me where this message is subtly injected into the text of the movie. Because, let's take Endgame, for example. Literally lining up all of the women from all the Marvel heroes and having them go fight together and be like, we're in this together. So effing subtle. So under the radar. And yes, I mean literally, and not like the alternate definition that also means figuratively for morons like you. But apparently, I don't know, maybe that is subtle for you because you're clearly an idiot. And that's not an opinion, it's just true. God, you're a writer. What? Why? How? Anyway, so blah, 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 female Thor, the internet lost its mind, blah, blah. Many of these people can be safely ignored. It's always great to ignore white men. Their opinions don't count. Because you know what happens when you just write off a group's opinions? They totally just complacently roll over and take it and say, yep, you're right, we had our time in the sun. Bye, we yield this to you. It's not what happens, bitch. You're just starting fights for no reason where they don't have to be there. Anyway, it's a reasonable, slightly more reasonable complaint. So I don't mind female POC LGBT plus characters, but why can't they make their own? And then she's like, we are making our own. Such great original characters. She cites herself in a nice moment of self-aggrandizement where she just talks up her own play that she's writing. And yeah, so original, so new and original. It's so original that the play is called Villain Interrupted, which just steals the title of a pre-existing book. A+ originality, KT, whatever the F your name is. A+. You're so original, I can't even remember your goddamn stupid-ass abbreviated name. So she goes on about that, but it's like, oh my god, when we have to make original characters and play against all of these old characters, it's like we're starting the race seconds before the big boys cross the finish line. Stealing a few of their spots at the front is not only positive, but absolutely necessary. So once again, this is where I pointed out her subtitle for her own article is just stealing one of her own quotes and putting it in a different context because she couldn't think of another way to say that. I'm so proud of you. You must be an excellent writer. Your grasp of the English language is stellar. As evidenced by the fact that you then end that and start an entire new paragraph to say, quite apart from anything else, it genuinely makes the art better and bigger. Why is that its own paragraph? That makes this illogical. You're referencing the line you just wrote in the paragraph before. This should be the end of that previous paragraph, not its own paragraph. And let me read for you this entire paragraph once again. Quite apart from anything else, it genuinely makes the art better and bigger. And bigger is like super emphasized. It's in italics. That's how you know it's emphasized. And I'm like, okay, bitch, based on what evidence? Because once again, having trouble parsing opinions and facts here, you kind of need to back up that statement. How does it make it better? How's it better? Explain. Because you just basically say, because women are automatically better. Duh. Okay, right, got it. Goes in your narrative. Don't need a whole paragraph for that. But bigger? On a purely physical level, women are generally smaller than men, so that argument kind of falls short. And bigger as in like bigger hits? Because yeah, okay, so we've had Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel have done well in the box office, but they haven't exactly blown their male counterparts out of the water. So cite your evidence. You can't just make a claim like that. An overarching sweeping claim. Oh, replacing men with women makes it bigger and better. You need to qualify that. You need to have evidence. You need to back this statement up. But no, the end of paragraph. Done. Moving on. Just accept what I say because it's not opinion. It's just true. moving on. Audiences tire of the same old stories told by the same old people with the same old characters just dressed up in different superpowers. Superpowers are not a costume, first of all. Second of all, you just made the counter argument, the paragraph before, about how we need to replace them. It makes it better when we replace these characters, but now you're saying that people tire of the same old stories, the same old characters just dressed up with new powers. You're not even giving them new powers. You're literally just dressing up other people in the same outfits with the same powers and the same backstory. You're doing the exact opposite. You're doing the exact thing that you say is tired, that people are tired of. You're not even giving them new superpowers. So what the F are you even talking about? Make a cohesive point and don't contradict yourself. Two freaking paragraphs in a row, lady. You don't make any sense. You don't make any effing sense. So she just goes on to be like, oh my god, the success of all, like, it's been so successful every time we've changed it to people of color. And even cites, we had a minority director on Thor Ragnarok, who you probably couldn't even figure out how to spell his name, so that's probably why you didn't actually include it in your little article. That's not a superhero. He's a director. They're not the same thing. You're making an entire piece where your justification is, let's replace all the male heroes with women, and you're sitting here being like, this guy who was a person of color directed this movie, and like, oh my god, it was so much better. Like, that doesn't even support your argument. You're just like, oh my god, minorities, let me just reference minorities, and that makes me virtuous. And that's literally how these idiots operate. Once again, literally, in the actual literal sense of the word, not the new definition, which is dumb. And then she says nothing of import, which, I mean, most of this article is nothing of import, but she continues saying nothing of import. And the only other thing I want to draw your attention to, blah, 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 Thor, Jane Foster wasn't good enough, is when we get to the end and she talks about, like, oh my god, there's new directors finally coming onto the scenes, and she says, we're stepping out of the shadows, and if we can step on our male predecessors along the way, all the better. Because, yeah, it's always a great thing. You should always be super proud of yourself when your art is based on squishing someone else and kicking someone else to the curb and saying F you to somebody else. That's always great art. That's always great progress. That's love and care and acceptance spread into the world. Is giving me a big fat middle finger to the people who came before you. Never mind the work that they did to create a genre. Never mind the work that the people who built Marvel Studios into this giant that it is, that makes box office hit after box office hit. Never mind the work they put in for that. No. Forget them. Screw them. Let's kick them to the curb. Ignore them. Pretend they never existed and take all their credit. Because that's totally progress. That's totally equality. Is women literally jumping off the shoulders of men, kicking those men in the face on the way up and saying, ha, I did this by myself. No, you didn't. Bitch, you did not. And this whole idea, and this goes into the ageism we have today too, right? All of these ideas of just ignoring what comes before or erasing what comes before because the new thing is better. You can't have the new thing without the old thing. So even if you are so abjectly convinced that your new thing is so far superior to the old thing, you need to at least acknowledge that the old thing is the thing that effing got you there in the first place. And these attitudes to me are so troubling. This idea that we can somehow have progress, that we can somehow have growth, when the entire idea is steeped on F you white guys. On let's pick a group of people based on their gender and the color of their skin and completely demonize and vilify an entire group of people. How do you people not hear yourselves? You know, sit here, people are going to point at me and be like, you're a men's rights activist. You're just an apologist for the evil white man. You're not a real woman. Your opinion doesn't count because you're not a real feminist. Do you hear yourselves? All you want is divisiveness. All you want is anger and animosity between groups. You don't want equality. You don't want harmony. You don't want a world in which we all get along. You want a world in which all of that happens, provided the white man gets stepped on. And when you get that world, you still won't be happy because you still will create your hierarchy of social oppression, and some people will always be better and more virtuous than others. And that's the way these people operate. There is no end goal. There is only more divisiveness and more envy and more unhappiness at the things you don't have, because it will never be enough. So if you got offended by this video, what the fuck are you doing on this channel in the first place? Good. If you didn't get offended by this video, you probably have a head on your shoulders. So I'll try to offend you with something else later on another day. But god damn, I just like tearing my hair out here. This is insane. How does anybody listen to this and think this is okay? I have no idea. It baffles me. Blows my fucking mind. But anyway, that's it. That's all I gotta say. So if you enjoyed this video, press the like button, because that's what we do on this channel. We believe a little bit of healthy oppression keeps life interesting. Maybe will bring us towards a better tomorrow. Yes, oppression leads to a better tomorrow. You heard it here first. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. And click on all of the links. They'll be popping up in a minute. There's LA cheesesteak reviews, the amazing new show I'm working on with a bunch of fellow Philly transplants. We're trying to find a decent cheesesteak in LA, largely failing. Hilarity ensues. Make sure you click on Get Involved with Me. That'll give you all the links you need to know. It'll get you to my Patreon, to my Teespring, to my PayPal. Any little way that you can help support this channel and help it grow is amazing. YouTube loves demonetizing my videos. I'm sure this one will be demonetized before it even goes up because, oh my god, it's so offensive. So make sure that you're supporting when you can, because otherwise I can't continue to do this. Also, you can follow me onto social medias, on Twitter at Jesse Milestone, Instagram at Mindless Entertainment. Make sure you're following at Team Jesse and at Mindless, the NTR, on Twitter as well. That's the Team Jesse is the official Jesse Milestone fan account, run by not me, by the way, and then Mindless, the NTR is the blanket account that will let you know what is, it's the master list, essentially. If they're following somebody, then it's an authentic Jesse parody account. If not, then who knows what dick is making an account out there. Anyway, that's all. So click those links. You guys are awesome. That's all I got for you today. God Empress out.